For some time, we have been told by the oil industry that it can't happen, it won't happen, and that this is, in essence, an industry where it's too safe to spill. Well, they weren't too safe to fail. Not in Australia last year, not in the Gulf last week, not in Mexico in 1979, and they're not too safe to fail off the coasts of Virginia, Delaware, or my home state of New Jersey, or Senator Nelson's in Florida.
We see that there are plenty of reasons environmentally and economically to avoid what is happening as we speak, with 5,000 barrels gushing from an undersea volcano every day. And you can imagine the economic disaster if oil is lapping up onto those sugary white sands that attract so much of our $65 billion a year tourism industry in Florida.
Offshore oil drilling was an arrow aimed at things that Americans love. What do we love that we're now losing? We love the 200,000 jobs in Louisiana, Florida, and in the Gulf that are now at risk. Shrimpers, people that we love that are part of our mythic past. We love the beaches that are now at risk. We love the creatures that are now at risk. This disaster happens at a moment when creatures are spawning in the Gulf of New Mexico. When creatures that we love go there. The Atlantic bluefin tuna, this is one of two places in the whole world where Atlantic bluefin tuna go to spawn, and it's spawning season right now. We love these creatures, we love the people whose jobs depend on these oceans, and we love the beaches, and we are seeing a catastrophe. It started with the loss of 11 people's lives, and we hope that they will be found, but we're worried they won't, and is now extended way beyond that.
When we warned that offshore drilling was an environmental hazard, the other side chanted, "Drill, baby, drill." When we said that it takes only one spill to devastate a coastline, they chanted, "Drill, baby, drill." When we said that drilling could destroy jobs in fishing and tourism sectors, they chanted again, "Drill, baby, drill."
And sadly, it now takes this environmental and economic disaster to remind everyone how lethal this production is, even when it's 42 miles off the Louisiana coast.
How many more times do we have to have this conversation? How many more times do we have to highlight oil spills that are happening in the Gulf, oil spills that are happening in the Amazon, oil spills that are happening in the Arctic, up in Alaska? How many more times do we have to have the exact same conversation about how bad our oil dependence is before we start focusing on solutions, before we start focusing on how to break our oil addiction and make the tough choices today to begin to reduce our oil consumption?
We need to move forward. We need to use this as a teachable moment to create the clean energy economy that we all so much believe in and know to be right around the corner.
It's time for this country to move forward and embrace the future rather than clutch to the ways of the past. So today we're calling on the President to stop his plans to expand offshore drilling. That includes lease sale 2010 in Virginia. That lease and all other leases should not go forward. And we're calling on the President to stop all scoping and seismic testing for any possible future drilling from Delaware down to Florida or anywhere else along our shores. It's time to believe our eyes and accept the obvious risk of drilling against the payback, and that's where I want to end. What is the payback? What is the payback that people say exists? The Energy Information Administration, the federal entity that tells us and estimates for us about energy sources, says that opening all of our shores to drilling would amount to no more than a few 100,000 barrels of oil per day. That translates to a few tablespoons of gasoline per American vehicle, a drop in the bucket with no measurable impact on gas prices in what is a world market. I don't want to gamble New Jersey's coastline, which is a huge driver of our economy, one of the centers of commercial fishing, one of the great estuaries in our nation, and the life of coastal communities for a few tablespoons of gasoline.